All right. A little bit of button issues, but we are here Monday afternoon at the Varsity softball field at Pioneer Valley Regional High School. My name is Tyler Borbo, bringing the play-by-play action of this softball game. That's right, Varsity softball. Back at home after a week on the road. Lady Panthers are hosting some familiar faces, Franklin County Tech Eagles, some of which were former Panthers at one point or were going to be going through the middle school, but welcoming them back. That's great. Need to get that camera back up and running. There we go. All right. Kobe Tominski in the circle to start things off for the Panthers. And leading things off is Lindsay Taylor with a big cut there for strike one. Oh, excuse me, strike two. 1-2 count for Taylor. She's the center fielder for the Eagles. And a little bit to the outside. Count goes 2-2 for Taylor. And it's so good to have the girls back here. The last time we were out here covering softball, and that just doesn't matter at the moment, that was caught by Jalen Beliski. Couldn't even get the camera there in time. And that is one down. Nice drive on the line drive by Lindsay Taylor, but causing an out. And that's Braley Berg popping one up into foul territory. No one's going to get there in time. The closest, Lucy Burnett, first baseman for the Panthers with the retrieval. That's going to be strike one for Braley Berg. Speaking of former Panthers, Braley Berg, we're going to see in the circle during the bottom innings. She's had a few years under the Eagles banner, pitching in the circle. And comes in high and away for ball one. But as I was saying, the last time BNC TV was out here covering the girls, got themselves a big win against Mohawk. And that win is 10-5. But they've had a very tough competition on the road this past week. And another one popped up, this one going back. And Maggie Tippanyuk with the snag. Nice job. Always respect the difficulties of a catcher catching kind of a pop-up like that. Of all the players, they're the ones that the ball is kind of going behind. They don't really have a total view of things happening, and they got to take off the mask. They got to run with the gear, so it's just all that more difficult to get to it. So a lot of respect when they're able to get underneath the ball and cause the out. Nice pitch right down Broadway for a strike. It's 1-1. This is Sandra Johnson. I think that might have been fouled away. So 1-2 count for Johnson. Good contact. The ball's popped up back. Tippanyuk had a tough time getting to that one, though. Count remains 1-2. Good hustle by Tippanyuk, though, trying to get underneath it. Like I said, especially ones that don't wind up having the amount of power that puts them in the air for a long enough time to kind of find out where they are. One's down in the dirt. And we had a little sprinkle of rain earlier, so there's going to be some moisture in the grass, moisture in the dirt. A little high and away, count goes full. But with that moisture, that's going to add, an extra momentum being taken away from a ground ball that's rolling into the outfield. So going to have to chase those ones in. And that one comes in high. Sandra Johnson gets herself to first on a walk. Batting next is Emma Peterson. She's batting cleanup for the Eagles. And playing left field in the bottom of the innings. Emma Peterson, another former Pioneer player. And strike just on the outside corner. With a 1-1 count. 2 outs, runner on first. Nice cut by Peterson and a steal to second. Johnson is safe. Ball comes a little bit loose, but nothing anyone can make anything more with. A runner in scoring position. Peterson behind in the count with 1-2. Ball comes in low and rolls. Johnson taking a considerable lead. No doubt the step off the bag is hoping to cause any kind of distraction or eyes wandering from staying on the ball for the pitch. I feel like it's very similar to when you go to bunt. Sometimes bunting is more about getting the bat right in the catcher's eyes rather than anything else. The ball gets past the catcher. Johnson heads over to third base, takes a turn and look. Slows things up. Peterson with the walk took second base almost immediately. So now we got two runners in scoring positions, second and third. Peterson heading right to second. And Sophia Melnick now up to bat. Ball comes in a bit low. Ball 1. And comes right in there. 1-1 count for Melnick. Sophia Melnick, shortstop for the Franklin Tech Eagles. A little high and away. And nice cut on a ball going low on the strike zone. So we got a 2-2 count. And foul tip. Count's going to remain. And if you can hear my voice clearly, it's because the wind has significantly died down compared to previous games that we've had. And ball flies high and away. That's going to drive in one. Peterson's going to hang on third. And the Eagles are on the board via a wild pitch. And the count goes full for Melnick. And with a big cut, that is going to get the Panthers out of an inning that more damage could have been done. But Tech is on the board with 1. We're going to take a short break, and let's see what the Pioneer bats are going to do. Braley Bergen's circle for the Eagles. Take a short break, check out our sponsors, and we will be right back in a moment with more varsity softball right here on BNC TV. Welcome back. Bottom of the first inning. Let's see if Pioneer can get their bats going with their first at bat. Leading things off, center fielder for the Panthers, Layla Goulston. Last time we covered, Goulston had a fantastic game against the Mohawk Warriors. And just a smidge of connection. That one fouling off. No, the count is more than 0-1. Say 2-1 count. And a surprise bunt down the third baseline. It's going to roll foul before anything can happen. Under those circumstances, great idea, great surprise element. But you always hate when and that one snags the shins. Goulston's no worse for the wear, though. She'll take first. And with a runner on first, batting second, first baseman Lucy Burnap. Burnap goes for an interesting yet confusing situation. Bunt is popped up, not caught, and then thrown to first. Everyone is safe. Got runners on first and second with no outs. That's going to bring up Amy Van Doren. Amy Van Doren is left field for the Panthers defense. I think that was a ball. Came in just a smidge high. Her 2-0 count. Fouled away. Right now the Eagles with a 1-0 lead. Tying run on second base. And gets itself through. The third baseman recovered by a shortstop. That's going to load up the bases. No one there to get the lead runner. Everyone's safe. And we got bases loaded, no outs, and cleanup. Stepping up to bat, Kobe Tominski. See if she could make something happen for the Panthers. And looked like she wanted it, but I think she stopped short of it. So for ball one. They were double checking whether or not she went for it. And popped up into right field. That's going to send Goulston home. And things are tied up 1-1. Nice sacrifice fly. Everyone else stays. So we got Burn Up on second. Van Doren on first. And that's going to bring up Jalen Beliski. Ball comes in high. And a little bit of pickling. Lucy Burnett took some steps, but headed back. And big cut. Burnett takes off this time. She's safe. We got runners on the corners. With a 1-1 count. And a strike. Some debit on the outside, but good idea. Ball dribbles away. Van Doren takes second. Comes in down low. I did miss that. Count is now full after the last pitch that kind of dribbled away. Down in the dirt. Bases loaded back up. And there is one out. Excuse me. Forgot to put that up there. Next up is Maggie Tippanyuk. Hits one towards the pitcher. Pitcher throws it home. Gets the force at home. Holds things to a tie ball game. Great IQ there by Braley Berg. All other runners are safe. Base is still loaded. But now we got 2 outs. And this is Abigail Fortier. The big cut. Strike one. Abigail Fortier is playing second base for the Panthers. And ball goes foul. Everyone will head back. 2 outs. Everyone's moving at the crack of the bat. And a big cut there. 40-year goes down, and that is it for the first inning. But Pioneer answering in kind. We got a tie ball game going on right now. Pioneer driving one with a sacrifice fly by Kobe Tominski. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, top of the second inning. We'll see what happens with the bottom half of the Eagles lineup. Don't go anywhere. More varsity softball action coming your way right here on BNC TV. Welcome back. Top of the second inning. Leading things off, Kendra Steiner. Kendra Steiner is the catcher for the Eagles. Ball goes down in the dirt for ball one. And one high and away. Snyder not going chasing, being very patient in the batter's box. Fouled away. And if you're just tuning in, not able to get to the game in time, so happy to have you with us, whether you're watching anywhere in the Franklin County area, whether it's Bernardston-Northfield, the Pioneer Valley Regional School District, or anywhere that Franklin Tech students call home. Happy to have you with us, and friends and family abroad. So happy to have you with us. And that is a walk for Steiner. She'll take first. Yes, and very, very happy to have you with us. And batting the designated hitter is number 31, Allison George. Allison George, another former Pioneer student. And dead ball in the knee. It's going to give Allison George a walk to first. We got two runners. And looks like we just need a moment to collect and settle things in. So Coach Fortier's out there having a chat with the infield. And, of course, during this time, the boys are on the road. Baseball is being hosted by the Frontier Redhawks, and they also began at 4 o'clock, I believe. So best of luck to them at that game. And that game may be being broadcast by our friends over at FCAT, Frontier Community Access Television. So if you want to, not now while you're on this broadcast, don't ever want to turn anybody away from our broadcast, but if you're curious about how the boys are doing, and that is being covered by FCAT, you can venture over there and take a peek at their coverage of the baseball game, if they are in fact covering it. And now batting, Skyly LePan. I believe was a strike. Skyly LePan is the first baseman for the Eagles. And comes in low. Oh, 1-1 count for LePan. A big cut on that one. The ball went to the outside, so LePan did a little bit of chasing. It's got 1 and 2. No outs, runners on first and second. Nice crack over to shortstop. And good out with the lead runner between Beliski and Hannah Shepard. That puts one down, and runners will remain on first and second. And the ball comes in for Samantha Duncan, which, by the way, If you are not seeing number 31, if you're keeping book at home for Allison George, that is Allison George doing the batting for Ava Warden, who is right field, but Ava Warden is still doing the base running. So that's why you see a number 2 on second base. That is Ava Warden doing the base running. And I, during that explanation, completely forget to keep track of the count, which won't matter now. And she is safe at third. So we have bases loaded off of that hit back towards Kobe Tominski. And that is going to bring up, go back to the top of the batting order. We're back to Lindsay Taylor. There we go. And ball knocked into center right. That is going to drive in at least 2. Third going home. Great hustle. Bases cleaned by Lindsay Taylor. She'll remain at second base. But that is 3 runs driven in by a beautiful hit into the right field center gap. And fouled away. This is Braley Berg back up to bat. And finds its way into the outfield. Taylor stays at third base. Berg will take second. There is 1 out. Excuse me, that out was made at third base, getting the lead runner earlier. And timeout is called. I think they are going to switch up Kobe Tominski and Jalen Beliski. And I mean a literal switch up. Beliski will take the circle. Tominski will go over to shortstop. But looks like Tech has cracked the code. They got the bats going in this inning. So definitely a change was going to need to be made. And while she warms up, this may be a perfect time for me to go and change an issue on the camera. So I am going to switch things over, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Just in time. See the ball knocked into left field, recovered by Amy Van Doren. That is going to drive in two. And a nice batted in single for Sandra Johnson. And another one sent into deep left field, yeah. It is going to send Johnson over to third base. And a nice hit by Emma Peterson. Puts runners in scoring position. Score now 6-1. And this is a strike for Sophia Melnick. Pitch comes in high for a 1-1 count. Fouled away over the backstop into logging country. And a 1-2 count for Melnick. Comes in just a smidge high. Brings the count to 2-2. And cranked foul. Franklin Tech has really gotten their bats going. Count goes to 3-2. Full count on Melnick. And good protection, fouled away back into the woods again. Count stays full. And another foul. Very similar to one a couple pitches ago. Melnick not going quietly, swinging at anything, protecting that strike zone as she should. Down in the dirt, Melnick will take first. It's going to load up the bases. And with one out, Pioneers going to need to find a way to get themselves out of this inning. Now batting is Kendra Steiner. And a good catch. That's going to drive in the tag-up run on third. Tech's lead goes 7-1. But with two down and runners on first and second now, this brings up the one who started it all, Allison George. George taking strike one. A little bit away for a ball. Another one comes in a bit high. 2-1 count. And big cut by George brings the count to 2-2. 2-2. Runners on first and second. And a big cut. Gets Pioneer out of a tough inning. See if they can get their bats moving. They did have bases loaded, and they drove in one. So we'll see if they can continue to do that. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, the rest of the batting order for Pioneer, Riley Goodwin, Hannah Shepard, and then back up to the top. See what's going to happen in the bottom of the second inning. Don't go anywhere. More varsity softball coming your way right here on BNC TV. Welcome back. Bottom of the second inning. Braleyburg starting off strong with strike one. This is Riley Goodwin, right fielder for the Panthers. And a big cut. Brings the count to 1-2. Franklin Tech having a big inning. And Riley Goodwin goes down swinging. That is the way you want to go down. And now batting, number 11, Hannah Shepard, third baseman for the Panthers. Ball comes in a little high. As I was saying, Franklin Tech Eagles having a big inning with some bombastic batting at the top of the second inning. Really driving in the runs. And a good cut. That was strike two. Well, if the clouds open up, things might get too bright in the lens. I may have to go and make another adjustment. And another big cut. And that's two down. As we go back to the top of the batting order, Layla Goulston coming up for the second time of the game. And big cut for Goulston. 1-1 count. And a little on the inside. Count goes 3-1. And Goulston, I think her last at bat, she was hit with a pitch to take first base. And this is Lucy Burnap. Held back, but looked like it was still within the strike zone. And fouled back to the backstop. Count quickly goes 0-2. Burnap will have to protect, keep themselves in this second inning. And on the inside, good hustle by Goulston. She successfully steals second base. And good connection. This is going to drop into shallow left, but drops down, picked up and thrown in. Goulston scores. Burnap turns, takes a look. Ball gets walked back to Berg. Pioneer puts one more up on the board, close that gap to 5. Still has their work cut out for them. But now we have Amy Van Doren batting. Fouled away. Going away. Big steal for Burnap. Turning on the Jets. I think that was a ball. So, yep, 1-1 count for Van Doren. A foul tip. And it looks like there could be a teeny issue with the catcher. And she caught that last pitch in just kind of a weird way. Shook her up a bit. But she's no worse for the wear. She's back in there. 1-2 count for Van Doren. Runner on third, 2 outs. Ball whacked foul. Going down the third baseline, Van Doren stays alive. And popped up to second base. That is going to close things out for the Panthers and tie up the second inning in a nice bow. Well, Franklin Tech has done some big damage in the top of the second, but Pioneer chipping away, turning things into a 7-2 game. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more Panther baseball right here on BNC TV. welcome back. Top of the third inning. Looking at Skyly LePan starting things off. Big connection, but fouled back. Maggie Tibanyuk with the snag. Puts that away. One pitch, one foul, one out. And at the bottom of the batting order, Samantha Duncan. Over to Hannah Shepard. Textbook fielding from third base. And Pioneer quickly snags 2 outs. As we're back to the top of the batting order, Lindsay Taylor. Lindsay Taylor's bat has been on fire so far this game. Pitch comes in low. 1-1 count. And popped up to the pitcher, and 1-2-3 puts things away. Very, very quick inning for the Panthers. Get themselves out of that. With the 1-2-3 outs, nothing on the board. Pioneer back up to bat. We have the meat of the batting order, Kobe Tominski, Jalen Beliski, Maggie Tibanyuk coming your way. Don't go anywhere. More varsity softball right here on BNC TV. Welcome back. And 1 out. There we go. Okay. Had to clear things up on the brightness on the lens. But with the ground out for Tominski, we have the pitcher, Jalen Beliski, with a 1-1 count. Fouled away. Kind of goes 1-2. Oh, by the end of this game, I think we're going to look at a nice low breeze, a little bit of humidity, but a nice sunny afternoon. And Beliski goes down swinging. Now we have Maggie Tibanyuk. Tibanyuk doing a little bit of chasing. in the dirt. 1-1 count. It comes in high and dribbles away. Berg snags it, puts it away. And Franklin Tech answers in kind. 1, 2, 3 batters for the outs. So nothing else to add to the board. Score remains 7-2 as we go into the 4th inning. We will be right back. Check out our local sponsors. And in no time, we'll be seeing the top of the 4th inning. See what the Eagles have for us then in just a moment. Top of the 4th inning. Getting things started off. Be honest, I'm not exactly sure. This is, I think, pitcher Braley Berg. Two and 0 count for Berg. That one comes in low in the dirt. Berg with a favorable 3-0 count. She can be picky with what comes next. Sent over to shortstop, or third base rather. Hannah Shepard with an overthrow. Ball becomes dead, so it will be a 1 base extra. Berg, it's a double on an error. And Berg with a pinch runner, which is Amelia Ryder. So we with Amelia Ryder on second, no outs. Stepping up to bat with a nice hit into center field and a double play on the tag up. Nice field awareness. Nice catch by Layla Golston. And put the ball in there. Panthers knew to catch the tag up. And just like that, we got 2 outs. And that was Sandra Johnson with the crank into the fly out into center field. So now we have Emma Peterson batting. Popped up towards shortstop. Tominski lining herself up and gets the out. Pioneer shuts things down for a second time in a row as we go in quickly into the bottom of the fourth. Nothing to add on. We're going to take a short break. See if Pioneer can get those bats going. Don't go anywhere. Check out our sponsors, and we will be right back. Welcome back. Bottom of the fourth inning. Abigail Fortier leading things off. Ball comes in right down Broadway for strike one. Nice cut, but couldn't connect. 0-2 count. And Fortier goes down swinging. And Riley Goodwin stepping into the batter's box, right fielder. And the big cut. Right down Broadway, 0-2 count. Nice cut, but fouled away into the backstop. Good protection by Goodwin. And a big cut. Goodwin goes down swinging. That will bring up third baseman Hannah Shepard. Shepard drives one over towards shortstop, who comes in. Ball comes loose off of first base. Shepard is safe on first. Good hustle by Shepard. That brings us back to the top of the batting order. Layla Goulston now in the box. Comes in high and away. There's 2-0. That ball comes right in through the swing. 2-1 count for Goulston. 2 outs, runner on first. I'll send right back to Berg. And Berg had a little bit of tough time getting to it, but she does. Gets the out. Gets the Eagles out of the inning. So with that, the scoring has significantly subsided for a couple of innings. As we go into the top of the fifth, score remains 7-2. Take a look at our sponsors. Short break coming your way, and then the latter half of this exciting varsity softball game. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Top of the fifth inning. Score 7-2. It's going to bring up Sophia Melnick. And if you were checking out the graphics before the game started or in between the innings, I want to give a big shout out to our local businesses that have partnered up with BNC TV through the spring sports season. So thankful to have them aboard with their sponsorship. We're able to bring you this content and update equipment and keep things running. And we're so happy to bring this broadcast to you. And largely it's with great thanks to our sponsors. Thanks Sam Browning Jr. Trucking. And others that we'll get to in a moment. Ball driven into the outfield for a solid single for Melnick. And that is going to bring up Kendra Steiner. Or, I'm not sure if that's Steiner. Ball slips through. Heads back towards the field, towards the fence. That is going to drive in. Looks like there have been some substitutions. I think that was number 21, Charlie Knight, that just scored. And so that triple, I think, is number 16. That is Bree Kempf that just had that. And this is Allison George now batting. So I think there are some substitutions, so we will see if in fact that is 21, 16. Sorry, just doing, breaking out the abacus, doing some calculations. And Allison George goes down swinging. Number 12. So that being number 12. Instead of Skyly LePan, we're seeing Lila Mikowitz. And a good out made at first while trying to figure things out, but that clears the bases. A run driven in. So that's 2 more to put up on the board. Low and inside for a ball. So this would be Amelia Ryder batting right now. Fouled down the left field baseline. And a little bit of a wild pitch, and that runner was driven in. And a 2-2 count. There we go. A good little skip there. Keeps yourself alive with a full count. Amelia Ryder. I'm not fully sure about fouled towards the Pioneer bench. Oops. Not exactly sure where these players' positions are going to be, but with all these substitutes, you can only have so many designated hitters like that. So, and popped up, caught by Beliski. So that is it for the inning. But 2 more have been driven in. See if Pioneer can get their bats going in the bottom of the 5th. Take a short break. When we come back, more of this varsity softball action. Don't go away. Welcome back. Still trying to figure out who's where. We got Lucy Burnett now batting. Pitch low in the dirt. 1-1 count. But a number of substitutions fouled away. So you see a new number. Braley Berg has moved to shortstop. And so this is Lila Mikowitz. 2-2 count for Burnett. And let's see, we also have Amelia Ryder at second base. And the count goes full for Lucy Burnett. And we also have Charlie Knight on first. So we just got a slew of changes and not really sure of the batting order. And Burnett takes a turn to look on that passed ball, but stays on first base. And a timeout was called to figure something. But with a runner on first, no outs. The bottom of the fifth. We've got Amy Van Doren now batting. And a steal for second base. Called out. Nice throw by Kendra Steiner. Big cut by, I thought that was Van Doren. Could be wrong. We'll find out that I saw a different number. That one comes in low. Count is full, excuse me. This could be Kaylee Fournette. And it was. Big cut by Kaylee Fournette. And stepping up to bat, Kobe Tominski. Been high and away for ball one. And line drive over to Braley Berg at shortstop, gets the final out. And that is it for the fifth inning. And with nothing added, we go into the sixth inning with a 9-2 score. Don't go anywhere. Still got a couple more innings. We'll see what happens in just a moment. All right, welcome back. Top of the 6th inning. Pioneer making a few crazy changes themselves. Crazy meaning many of them, so needed to spend the break tracking down players and seeing who's where. So now we have Kiara Gruskowski in right field. Got a new pitcher in the circle. Big hearty welcome to Greta Lewis. This is the first time BNC TV has seen her hurling from the middle of the infield. So welcome to her. And we've also got Molly Goodwin stepping in for second base. And that means if Gruskowski is in right field, Riley Goodwin has been moved over to left field from right. And that is all of the changes that I see to the defense for the Panthers. So if I'm not mistaken, part of the timeout right now has to do with making sure everything is all squared away. And check with the Franklin Tech Eagles book, making sure that all their T's are crossed and lowercase j's are dotted. And ball one comes in. This is, well, if I didn't know any better, I would say it was Lindsay Taylor starting things off. This is the top of the batting order for the Eagles. And pitch comes in low. That one comes into the outside. Oh, I was off on balls, so that is ball 4. I'll put Steiner on first. And load in the dirt for Braley Berg. And nice catch by Lucy Burnap. And looks like safe at first. And that was going off of the tag up. So nice job by Lindsay Taylor. Runner on second, one out. Going to bring up Sandra Johnson. Tominski over to first. Checks on Taylor on third. That's 2 outs. That's going to bring up Emma Peterson. A near miss there. Pitch on the inside for ball 1. Big crank into left field. Riley Goodwin gets the ball in. Taylor will score. And a fantastic RBI for Emma Peterson. Big cut for number 21, Charlie Knight. Just the first baseman. Sorry, 0-2. Down in the dirt. Runner stays on first. And just on the outside. 2-2 count. Count goes full for Charlie. Sorry, tongue got tied. Count goes full for Charlie Knight. I'll send over towards second base. Get that out. Got the lead runner, which is the final out at second base. That's going to retire the inning. Well, with one more driven in for the Panthers, Franklin Tech leads 10-2 as we go into the bottom of the sixth inning. Don't go away. Check out our sponsors, and we will be right back. We are back. Bottom of the sixth inning. Franklin Tech maintaining a 8-point lead. Ball comes into the outside. This is Greta Lewis batting. Quite frankly, I'm not exactly sure where she is in the batting order. A good connection fouled away. Count goes 1-2. We will see where Greta Lewis fits in after the second batter. Unless that's also a substitute. Lewis with good connection over to second base. Quick toss over to first. Gets the out. Good connection. Gets bobbled by the third baseman. A tough snag for her. Sandra Johnson. So Tippanyuk safe at first. And if that was Tippanyuk, that must mean Greta Lewis took out Jalen Beliski. And so up next is Molly Guin. And the Sunshine finally makes its debut out here. Hey, we got a pinch runner on first. Not exactly sure who it is yet. And I do know who it is now. We got Evie Lewis out there on first base, taking over some base running for Maggie Tippanyuk. Oh, there's at least one strike after that foul. 1-2, excuse me. And caught looking. That was the second out. And now batting, Riley Goodwin. Goodwin took strike one. A little on the inside. 1-1 count. Lila Mikowitz pitching. She was relief for Braley Berg. She's been doing a great job so far. And good connection. Ball goes foul. Count goes 1-2. And goes to the outside. Goodwin with a 2-2 count. Lewis doing something after the pitch that's making the catcher keep an eye. Count is full now for Riley Goodwin. And it goes down swinging. That's going to bring a close to the 6th inning. Nothing else to add to the scoreboard. Pioneer still trailing by 8 as we go into the final inning. See if they can shut things down quick and then get back into the batter's box and get those bats moving. We'll see what happens in this final inning. Final at bat for the Eagles coming up. Don't go anywhere. Check out our sponsors. We'll be right back before you know it. to the final inning. Franklin Tech with a commanding lead, 10-2. You're watching Pioneer Sports on BNC TV. Tyler Barbo here, closing out the game of Franklin Tech Eagles versus your Pioneer Panthers. And it looks like there might be some other lineup changes to throw me off on my play-by-play. I don't know why anybody makes changes without coming out and checking with us out in center field. That seems like a reasonable request. But we'll track things down and see who's who. Hopefully we can get the number on the jersey. If we get the name wrong, I apologize. Do our best out here. If our best is not good enough, though, I would strongly suggest, if you have some free time, come out here. Many hands make light work. We're very pleasant out here. We would like to have a good time, bring a good broadcast to you. If you want to throw on a headset, do some play-by-play, or run a camera, or, many hands make light work. I always love improving the programming, and more people running the equipment makes everything run smoothly. So happy to have a conversation about that. So give us a call, 413-648-6300, or send me an email, tyler@bnctv.net. But it looks like things might be squared away now. I think. But we'll see if we'll see if our center fielder can explain to us why the game is paused. Layla doesn't know, but it looks like it's back in action. But thank you for the update, Layla. Greta Lewis back in the circle. I think that was Mikowitz with that hit. And one down. Good fielding by the Panthers. And that is going to bring up Ava Worden. I think she's stepping in for Allison George, which means maybe Kendra Steiner is not batting if that was Lila Mikowitz. So Ava Worden no longer with the DH with Allison George, but she's been playing right field for the Eagles. Not sure about the count. No, there's at least one ball. And good cut. Kent goes to 2-1. Another big cut with a low pitch. Oops. 2-2 count for Ava. And fouled away. Big cut. Looks like she found her pitch, but found it a little bit late. Most times something cranked foul means you were very early in your swing, so she was very, very eager to see her pitch come in. And another foul. The count will remain 2-2. And caught looking on that one. 2 outs. Big blast of sunlight coming through into center field. Appreciate the warmth. It's been a nice, steady mid to high 60s out here today with some mild wind. Not the gusts that we've had that have been moving the cameras, so hey, we'll take what we can get. And I do believe that was ball one. With this, over to big throw by Kobe Tominski. Gets that third out. And that was Lila Mikowitz on the batting. So I'm all mixed up on the batting order. But I guess it doesn't matter. That will be the final, could be the final at bat. Won't count everything out quite yet. But speaking of final at bats, Pioneers got to make some big things happen as we go into the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll see if they can do it. Final at bat for this softball game. Eagles, Panthers, don't go anywhere. Bottom of the 7th inning. So I was a little bit off. I think what had happened was an earlier player was just mixing up the 1 and the 2 because it was Charlie Knight that had the grounder out last inning for the Eagles, and then the final out was Lila Mikowitz. So now we can get back into the bottom of the 7th inning, and we're looking at Hannah Shepard starting things off with at least a 1-1 count, I believe. Nope. No matter what I choose, it's wrong. 0-2 count on Hannah Shepard. Hannah Shepard's been doing a great job at third base so far for the Panthers, and she goes down swinging. 1 down late in the game. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity again to thank our sponsors, Sam Browning Jr. Trucking, Sweet Lucy's Bakeshop, Works LTD, the Tree Experts, Wiggin Hydroseeding, Zilinksi HVAC, DiGeorge Builders, and Greenfield Cooperative Bank. One bunted over down the third baseline. And big, quick work on Layla Goulston to get the second out. And with 1 out left, Lucy Burnett stepping up to bat. And hit right over towards the pitcher's glove. Couldn't snag it. Ryder couldn't get there in time. Burnett safe at first. Last chance to get a rally started. We're looking at Kiara Groskowski stepping up to bat. Let's see if that was a ball or strike. I did not see that. And that was a strike. It was a ball. So 1-1 count for Groskowski. Burnett taking some steps to try to garner some attention. Oops. Ball knocked down towards first, recovered by the second baseman, and put away to close out the game. Well, after 7 innings, Franklin Tech having a huge second inning. Pioneer just having a tough time catching up to that. Game falls. Franklin Tech's first win of the season. 10-2 win over the Panthers. Tech did a great job. Came in and worked hard at that. Of course, the next game to come up that we're looking at will be this Friday, of course, weather permitting. That's going to be against Lee High School. Lee High School is going to make their way here. Of course, things can change, but just at a glance, looking at some ominous lightning clouds on the weather. We'll see what happens later on. Things can blow here or there or happen in the morning. We'll find out more. When we know more, you'll know more. But as of right now, we are on schedule to cover that game unless it gets canceled. So right back here at 4 p.m. at the Pioneer Valley Regional High School softball fields, Panthers will be hosting Lee High School. And other than that, everything else is on the road, so a mild week for sports. But I want to thank you so much for stopping by, joining us on this broadcast, wherever you're watching from. And until next time, my name is Tyler Warbo, and thank you for stopping by.